Morning, Patricia.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not greeting today because it's really hard to do on a phone. This is the last,
It's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
We can learn something valuable about forgiveness from our GPS. When you're driving around and your GPS says make a left turn, and instead you go straight, the GPS doesn't blame you or argue with you. It simply recalculates and tells you from where you are now, here's how to get to the destination that we have agreed upon. And if it suggests another turn and you don't take it, it still doesn't get mad at you. It recalculates and offers up a brand new solution, always looking to get to that mutually enjoyable destination.
So this is Christmas. What have you done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. And the dear one, the old and the young, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. And so this is Christmas, weak and for strong, for rich and for poor ones. The road is so long, and so happy Christmas for black and for white, for yellow and red ones. Let's stop all the fight. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. So this is Christmas. What have we done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. So happy Christmas. We hope you have fun, near and the dear one, the old and the young. Very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. War is over if you want it. War is over if you want it. War is over now.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Happy Christmas, and happy the 26th. Post-Christmas. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. We're here on Zoom again, safe and safe. and peaceful. Let's hope. And you know the rules on Zoom. We've been doing this long enough. Keep your microphone muted except when we're sharing. And we can avoid that cacophony when everybody's trying to talk at once, except for now. Let's all go ahead and unmute our microphones so that you can repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself
To love.
I open myself to joy.
I open
I
myself
open
to
myself
joy.
joy.
I open myself to the awareness of the good surrounding me.
I open myself to the awareness
Awareness
of the good surrounding me.
Me.
I know love is right here, right now.
I know love is
Love is right here,
Right now.
right now.
Drop the mic.
Drop it.
And so it is.
No, it is.
It is.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead and hit your mute button one more time as I remind you the New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to an empowering space of unconditional love where you can experience your true divine nature. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you through our door today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, and that includes each of us. And that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. As we like to say around here, your new life begins with a new thought. So as we dive in, if you have an extra electronic device, some sort of a thing to keep you in touch with the world around you, go ahead and turn it on shush for the next hour or so that we can go within and connect in this group. I'm Reverend Bill Marchiony. Our music today is by the amazing Ami Yaris, and just wonderful stories coming back and forth here. He is in the musical, it's not a dungeon, it's a basement. We were doing a sound check before, and he had to wait for the furnace to turn off so that the sound would be what we needed it to be. And you know, as we get on Zoom, we can kind of navigate these things and make them work. Our practitioner today is Jo Catanzaro, RSCP, and she is going to begin us the way we begin everything with a practical prayer.
Thank you, Reverend Bill. Reverend Dr. Bill. Take a breath, turn within, tap into that source, that beingness, and know that there is one mind, one spirit, one love, one power and presence. It is the infinite, eternal source of all life, all form, all thought, all that is. Infinitely and eternally expanding itself through everything we do, expanding its substance, its spirit, its mind, its love through us, because we each are a part of that one. Everything unfolds from that one. It weaves itself through all life. Today, we come together again to celebrate that oneness, celebrate our connections, to celebrate our access to that power by recognizing the power and the presence that's available to us. All that divine love, all that intelligence is here now, expressing through the music, the words, the inspiration, the technology, the willingness of each one here to come together and share their hearts, share their spirits, to make something even greater. So I'm grateful for everyone here, for everything we bring, everything we do, all the differences and all the diversity that makes something wonderful come into the world that we can share. I know that all of this good unfolds now. It's available to each and every one of us. All that love, all that power. But I claim it for each one here. I allow it. I accept it. And I give up the question of how this happens. It's inconsequential. I just release that word to the law. It always says yes. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Joe. It is a practical prayer, which is a prayer that follows a very specific format. But most importantly, is intended to create a change in the experience that we're having in our lives. That's why we call it practical. So this is a chance that we get to share stories of how our practical prayers have been yielding practical results in our lives. Anybody have something you'd like to share? You can click your reaction button or just raise your hand, as Breen is so eloquently demonstrating. Go ahead and Breen and
Yes, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Bill. So Thursday? Yes, Thursday, the 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, I decided to go shopping. And I live in Wynwood near the main line. It's a fairly populous area, lots of people, lots of stores. And I audibly said before I left, I said a prayer for harmony and divine order and parking and excellent shopping experiences. I went to 7 stores. I got great parking, in and out, found what I needed. Awesome shopping experience at every stop along the way. Even so that in downtown Ardmore, I got a street spot in front of the store on Lancaster Avenue 3 days before Christmas. Boom, drop that mic.
drop that mic. Perfect. Thank you so much, Breen. Yeah. And when we open ourselves up to the possibilities, it's just awesome what happens. Because it turns out that when you're looking for a good parking space, the universe doesn't need to manufacture another one. It just needs to make somebody need to leave at the same moment that you're showing up. And it's about coincidence. It's just wonderful how that happens. Thank you, Breen. Joe?
So this is in the order of worry is just a negative form of prayer. So with all of the changes and the changes with my dad, I realized I was just constantly worried that this was going to happen and that was going to happen. And I just gave it all up. I just said, okay, I'm just worrying this stuff into existence. So I have consciously and deliberately taken the step to just pray that there's balance, there's peace, there's harmony, and it pretty much has been for the past 2 or 3 days. So
Beautiful. I love when that happens. Thank you, Joe. Sarah?
This is one of those like good news, bad news, who can tell? I'm in Virginia. The original plan was to go to Maryland to be with my grandmother and my grandfather and our 2 little cousins. But unfortunately, COVID came to their house instead of Santa. So they were down for the count. They're all feeling better. Things are looking up. It's going to be okay. But it's that good news, bad news, who can tell? Because I was like, oh no, like, what are we going to do now? So my other side of the family, all of the grandchildren plotted behind the back of my grandfather with my biological father's help to like correspond and come all at the same time on Christmas Eve. So granddaddy and my biological dad were there, and all of us kind of came at the same time. And it was like all 5 of the grandkids, which we haven't been together. I don't know when the last time we were together that wasn't for like a funeral or something sad, but this was actually like a good moment. And not only that, but they're like grown. I'm the oldest. So we've got 1 more of the grandchildren that are still in high school, but all of us are like grown people. And it was really, I don't know, there was some sort of Christmas magic and everyday miracle in that, seeing everybody all together, like as grown people in the same space that we've all been in forever. I don't know. There was something really sweet about it. And then the next day I ended up going back there and going through some of my Grammy's old items that my granddaddy has been like, please, people, go through this stuff. Help me get rid of this, but not get rid of this, but like give it new home. So it was just really nice. And it was one of those like, don't be disappointed. Just keep looking for the good and keep loving the people that are around you. And of course, wanting everyone to be healthy and happy and finding the good at all times. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. That's wonderful. It's so wonderful to look around and see all you folks around here. Announcements this morning brought to us by the illustrious Jane Rourke. Breen, you want to play the kazoo on the way in?
Yeah, get on that, Breen. Okay. This end of season information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. Everyone is welcome. They're inspiring and fun and quick, less than 15 minutes start to finish. Episode 29 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer podcast is Changing the Way We Look at Things Changes the Way They Look. Listen on the website or subscribe on Apple, Google, Spotify, or Stitcher. Beyond Limits is our foundational class in New Thought Principles and Practices. Learn to create the life of your dreams. The winter series is Thursday evenings on Zoom, beginning January 6th. It will skip the weeks that conflict with the Women's Circle. Register today. And I do mean register today. It was the best course. There's so much, it's a nice intimate group of people, and the fellowship and the sharing and the growth, the learning, it's fantastic. So if you haven't taken the class and you're looking to give yourself a nice extra after day Christmas holiday present, gift yourself that. That's my plug, because it's a great class. The one-day practical prayer workshop is on Saturday, January 22nd from 12:30 to 5 on Zoom. It's open to all and included for all Beyond Limits students. Healing the Divide is a 10-week program beginning in January based on Ruth King's book, Mindful of Race, conducted in small groups. Sandy Fried and Karen Judd will lead. Support our social media. Join the Philly Spiritual Adventures in our group on meetup.com and follow New Thought Philly on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Power of 8 Intention Circle meets Mondays at 7 p.m. Contact Sandy for info. The Women's Circle meets on the fourth Thursday of the month on Zoom. Contact Sandy for info. The Conscious Creativity Core meets the third Tuesday every month. Contact Chris. And again, such a great group. We have so much fun. New Thought Philadelphia is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're grateful to be included in your tax-deductible year-end giving by PayPal, check, Venmo, or Cash App. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebrations work and have fun doing it. There's a short technical rehearsal before the celebration on Sunday. To join the team, contact Carla Ann. Next Sunday will be virtual on Zoom and YouTube. It's a white stone healing celebration with a ritual to set an intention for the good that we are inviting into our lives in 2022 using white stones imported from Jerusalem. If you'd like a stone, contact the office. Live original music by Bernard Sarkisian. Make 2022 a breakthrough year. Reverend Bill is offering series packages of spiritual coaching and prayer sessions to dive into your challenges and help you move beyond them. After the celebration, Joe will be available for a quick miracle in a minute prayer at no charge. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk amongst ourselves.
Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you. And when we're together in person, we have a special blessing and a gift for our second-time visitors, token of our appreciation for sticking around or coming back. We also have a welcome packet and a blessing for our first-time visitors. We don't have the welcome packet today, but you get all the same information if you sign up on the website for the e-newsletter. That's kind of the thing that gives you the reminder every week of the stuff that's worth looking at. I recognize most of the names here today, but if there's somebody here who is joining us for the first time, if you'd wave your hand or give us a digital hand up so that we can single you out. I'm kind of delighted by a new, first-time connection because Karen Kessler has been taking part in the daily meditations for a while. And then she found out that Ami was doing the music and she says, oh my God, I've known Ami for years. So it's one of those cross-pollination things that happens whenever we open ourselves up and say, what new thing is possible? So what we're going to do is we're going to bless ourselves. We're going to bless each other. Go ahead and rub your hands together. Feel some warmth. Feel that love coming up and send that out to everybody here. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you for shining that light and sharing that love today. Welcome home. Yeah. So go ahead and switch into gallery view as we go into the next song. Ami's going to sing for us, and just make eye contact with the people who we're in community with. It's the next best thing to being the next best thing to hugging.
Gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, bow and bend, oh, we shan't be ashamed to turn, till we are the light, till by turning we'll come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. Gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. Oh, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and bend, oh, we shan't be ashamed to turn, for we are delight, till by turning we'll come round right.
Thank you, Ami. Beautiful. Beautiful. This week, we're going to have Christine Joy lead us in the Flames of Faith.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle of Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by divine law. We light this fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God and the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical faith of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. As we light the healing candle silently into the light, place the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today is from 365 Science of Mind, and it's presented to us by Jennifer Kerrigan.
Good morning, everybody. I know that my spirit is free from all limitation. And the reading begins with three quotes from three different holy texts. And the first one is from Genesis. I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. The second is from the Upanishads. Whoever knows the God who is without commencement, without end, who within this impervious world is the creator of the universe, who is of an infinite form, the one penetrator of the universe, becomes liberated from all bonds. And the third quote here is, thus it is that the Tao produces all things, nourishes them, brings them to their full growth, nurses them, completes them, matures them, and overspreads them. And that is from the Tao Te Ching. And this Chinese text tells us that the Tao, which means spirit, produces everything, nourishes everything, and maintains everything. It spreads itself over everything. It flows through everything and is in all things. Indeed, being all that is, there can be nothing outside it. Our Hindu text, the Upanishads, tells us that in such degree as we understand God, who is the one penetrator of the universe, in such degree we become liberated. And then our Hebrew text says, walk before me and be thou perfect. We are to recognize the divine in everything, to speak to the divine in everything, to see it everywhere. Lift the stone and you find me. Cleave the wood, for there I am. There is a mystical presence that pervades the universe. The fragrance of the rose, the beauty of the dewdrop glistening in the sun are manifestations of its presence and activity. This mystical presence welling up in our consciousness evermore proclaims itself as the source and root of all. This source, Hermes tells us, forevermore proclaims itself as the oneness. Being source and root of all, it is in all things as the root and source. And the Christian scripture again tells us, I am over all, in all and through all. The enlightened of the ages have told us that it is this God within us that recognizes itself in everything we are. I know that my spirit is free from all limitation. I know that my mind understands the truth about myself. I know that my physical body and my objective affairs reflect and manifest the perfection that I feel, the wholeness that I am certain of, and the prosperity that rightfully belongs to me.
כל המקומות שבהם היית, עולמות שראית וגילית, כל השאלות שבדרך שאלת, לפעמים לא העזת לגלות, אורות מהרהבים בשתי שניות, חולפים חיי אל מול עיניי, קולות מזמן אחר, הלב אומר להתעורר מהר, כה הדרכים נפתחות לפניך, מתגלות מול עיניך בחייך, כל התהיות נעלמות ברגע, ועכשיו ברור מה חשוב ומה פחות, אורות מהרהבים בשתי שניות, חולפים חיי אל מול עיניי, אורות מזמן אחר, הלב אומר להתעורר מהר, הזיכרונות, הדמעות שבכית, שניחו את פניך מהתום, כל החוויות שצימו את ימיך, שדירו שינה מעיניך בלילות, אורות מהרהבים בשתי שניות, חולפים חיי אל מול עיניי, קולות מזמן אחר, הלב אומר להתעורר מהר,
Beautiful. Thank you, Ami. Change gears a little bit. It's beginning to look a lot like. So Christmas morning, Little girl's very excited to go see what's under the Christmas tree. So she and her mom and her dad run down the stairs. And there in the middle of the living room is an enormous steaming pile of horse manure. Mom is aghast. Oh my God, how could this possibly happen? What is going on? Dad is like looking for who's broken in to the house and done this horrible thing. And the little 6-year-old is jumping up and down with joy. And her mom says, what are you so happy about? She says, there's got to be a pony in here someplace. It's beginning to look a lot like. Did you notice that the Christmas lights got put up like before Halloween? It was October and we were having things that were looking a lot like Christmas. And this talk is not about Christmas. We're just past Christmas, but it's about expectations. What is your life beginning to look a lot like? What are you expecting next? What are you inviting? When that next new thing happens for you, what does it feel like? What's the tone and the flavor and the texture of that next experience for you? What's it beginning to look a lot like? And as we were talking before, practical prayer is setting a positive intention for bringing something that you consider to be good and wonderful into your life, putting mental, emotional, and spiritual energy into it, and opening a channel for that to flow into our lives. And worry is exactly the same process, but it's like doing a prayer for what you don't want. So what's it beginning to look a lot like? What are you inviting into your life? And being able to look a fact in the face and know something different is really important. And understanding who and what we are as we're going into a situation or a circumstance is helpful as well. So it being the holidays, of course, I was thinking about the movie Jaws. No, those are not actually connected in any way. But there's a scene in the movie Jaws where, for the first time, the scientist guy, Richard Dreyfuss's character, gets a look at the shark. And he immediately turns around to the boat captain and he says, we're going to need a bigger boat. We're going to need a bigger boat. And of course, the boat captain, with his attitude, Robert Shaw, we're not going to need a bigger boat. You're a wimp and a wuss. And of course, by the end of the movie, the boat captain had been eaten and the boat had been sunk. So it turns out they needed a bigger boat. The question is, optimist or pessimist? You know, some people say it's the glass half full, glass half empty. You know, you look at the glass and you say, oh, it's half full. That's the optimist. And you look at it and you say, yeah, it's half empty. It's the pessimist. And some people say, I want to be a realist and just understand how much there is in the glass. And that, of course, brings the question, what is real? A minister friend of mine used to describe that. And he was also, by his training and profession, he was a chemist. And he said, I think of the glass as being completely full of two different substances. It's got some water in it, or whatever the liquid is, and it's got some air in it. And both of those are valuable under different circumstances. If you're really thirsty, the water in the cup is really helpful. If somebody's drowning, some air is really good. So it's not that one is better than the other. It's about understanding who we are and what the circumstance and the situation is. We have it's a print that's in our, we have a bunch of these. These are from Brian Andreas. And we've had this one hanging in our upstairs bathroom forever and ever. And I'm going to share it on screen. What it says is, in my dream, the angel shrugged and said, if we fail this time, it will be a failure of imagination. And then she placed the world gently in the palm of my hand. And that's been in our house for over 20 years. And it is, it's a wonderful reminder. If we fail this time, it'll be a failure of imagination. So understanding that what we set as our expectation is going to not only invite the experience that we're having, but it's also going to be the limiting factor in whatever's going on in our lives. If I'm expecting something to be mediocre, and as we say in the kids' card game, I fish my wish, then I'm going to get something mediocre. I will have completely successfully created something mediocre in my life. And if that's what you want to do, go for it. And if you'd like to have something that's a little better than mediocre, or a lot better than mediocre, then you get to set the anticipation or open yourself to that. That's where the imagination comes in. What is the best you can possibly imagine? Allow yourself to dream big and then dream bigger. Remember, this is an infinite universe. This is a creative power that has created galaxies, billions of them, stars in all of those galaxies, billions of them, billions of people on this planet, all of the possibilities, all of the richness, all of the resource just on this planet. It's all created by that one. And that same creative power has created each of us. It's created you. You are that divine presence taking your own specific and particular form. The limitation that you're experiencing in your life is not coming because the infinite doesn't have enough oomph to give you a little bit more. We're on the path and the trajectory and the arc of our life experience based on what we learned, what we've known, the steps that we've taken so far, and whatever's brought us to this point now. And we're invited to look a fact in the face and know something better, or even just to know something different. Principle is not bound by precedent. That's another one of those great lines from Ernest Holmes. What that means is that what has led up till today is not controlling what happens today or tomorrow. Principle is not bound by precedent. Yes, it's always happened that way. And by the way, everything always happens that way until suddenly it starts happening a different way. Everything that has ever happened, including the Big Bang, had been unprecedented right up until the moment that it happened. And stuff that happens all the time had never happened before up until the first time that it happened. So what's next? What's the next thing for you? What is it that you'd like to create in your life next? There's some techniques that we can use to bring something new into our lives. This is one of my favorites. This is a Jerusalem stone. And what we do on the first, either the first Sunday of the new year or the last Sunday of the old year, is we have a ceremony where everybody gets a Jerusalem stone. And we do a spiritual process where you open yourself up to the guidance of the infinite as to what is it that I'm creating for myself in this coming year, in this next period of time. And I get to name it and claim it. And using an old ritual, we get to give ourselves a new name. Who am I for this next new year? And usually we hand them out at the Sunday celebration. Seeing as how we are all over the globe at this point, the handing them out part is a little bit more challenging. There are ways that we can get a Jerusalem stone into your hands. If you'd like one, please email info@newthoughtphilly.org sooner rather than later. If you're in the Philadelphia area, then we can get one to you by driving around. If you are not in the Philadelphia area, then there's the U.S. Postal Service makes those available as well. And there's also the possibility that Jesus will be driving by your house because he's back and forth to Florida, I think twice this week. So anything is possible. Anything is possible. And the question for you is not only what is it that you want to create for the coming year? What is this next experience that you want to have in your life? But also, what is it that's no longer working? What is it that has served its purpose? What is it that we're ready to let go of? There's a great prosperity class called 4T. It's tithing of time, talent, and treasure. And I probably took that class in the 1990s. And it was my first experience with tithing, which was terrifying. Like, what do you mean give away 10% of my money? How's that going to work? And it was terrifying. It seemed big. I had never done that before. That was my precedent. But what happened was I stuck my toe and I said, I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. And the prosperity continued to flow and continues to flow. And as we get into a partnership with the infinite, whatever it is that we're going to be doing, that good continues to flow into our lives. One of the things that Stratton Smith, who was the guy who created the 4T class, pointed out, he had a background in retail. He'd been a manager, I think, with J.C. Penney, the department store, forever and ever. And great line that he said, in the retail business, we call it a clearance sale, where you take the stuff that hasn't been moving and you mark it down and you move it out. And in spirituality, that's called forgiveness. So if we're going to have a clearance sale and clear out whatever it is that's not serving us anymore, we may have to let go of some things that we've had an attachment to. We may need to let go of some of the energy. There might be a forgiveness process. As we were discussing last week, everything that we have, everything that we want, everything that we are bringing into our lives, we're paying for in spiritual coin. So it happens first spiritually, and then it shows up in our bank account, or in our paycheck, or in our unexpected income, or wherever it is that it's showing up. So that's another part of the process that we get to do towards the end of the year. What is it that I'm going to let go of? The great modern day philosopher, Dr. Phil, says, how's that going for you? And you can ask yourself that question. How's that going for you? And so often we make the assumption that the way things have been going for me, the stuff that I've been doing so far, is the stuff that I need to continue doing. And then you go, do I really need to do that? Do I really need to continue doing things the way that I've been doing it? No, that's the short answer. No, you don't. Principle is not bound by precedent. You don't have to keep doing anything. Even if you promised somebody that you were going to keep doing something, you can say, you know what? Upon reflection, I'm going to change the way that I'm doing that just a little bit so that it's going to be more uplifting and harmonious and better for me. And by the way, that will also make it better for everyone, including you. Everything is subject to change. Now, I'm not giving you permission to bail out on your friends, to not show up for appointments, or do any of those other things that we consider to be impolite. I'm saying that you don't have to do it just because you've always done it. You don't have to do it just because somebody thought that you should. It's a white stone. It's a blank slate. It's a new year. It's a brand new possibility. And you get to choose. You get to choose. What's that glass half full of? Do you want it to be full to the top? Do you want it to be overflowing? Do you want to have a bigger cup? Are you ready to embrace and embody and accept more and more and more of whatever it is that you call good? Greater capacity than you ever thought possible? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to be the person who has all of that wonderful good stuff showing up in your life, and not worry that your friends might say, well, yeah, you've got all that good stuff going on in their life? Because you can find a naysayer. You can find a naysayer who's going to believe that you don't deserve it. Because, of course, if you don't deserve it, then it's okay that they don't deserve it and they're not having it. It's nothing to do with you. What is that next new good thing? How is it that you describe the good? If your life were as fabulous as you can imagine it, what would it look like? Because if we fail this time, it's a failure of imagination. Dream big and then bigger, because you deserve it. You deserve all of the good. And I, by the way, am looking forward to all of the fabulous stories. And I deserve that. Because love is unfolding, so it is. Thank you. And Sarah, it's wonderful watching you with a huge dog.
Have you seen the whitest fog rising from the bog? The water's warm, the air is freezing, these harbingers of fall. And underneath that rootin' rock, well, the water's on the rise as these drops of crimson start to spread. Oh, this is harvest time. Well, this pool of crimson will catch your eye when you be driving by. It's Stop a minute to rest your mind while you thank yourself in time. And all this beauty passes from season to century. You best catch it while the moment lasts. From winter's icy grass. Let it last now. Let me take you in my arms. Let it last now. Well, we haven't got too long. Let it last now. Let me take you in my arms. Let it last now. Well, we haven't got too long. Well, there's beauty in every season, and everything you feel. Cuts are rough, they might just heal. The scars are yours to seal. Or we could clasp our hands together, or just choose to set them free. Well, the choice is yours and yours alone. Just don't lather up misery. Let it last now. Let me take you in my arms. Let it last now. Well, we haven't got too long. Let it last now. Let me take you in my arms. Let it last now. Well, we haven't got too long. Oh, Lord. Lord. You better let it last now. Let me take you in my arms. Let it last now. Well, we haven't got too long, so you better let it last now. Let me take you in my arms. You better let it last now. Well, we haven't got too long.
Thank you, Ari. That was great. So we're going to do a little meditation now. And as Reverend Dr. Bill was talking, at a recent job when I had my own office and I bulletin board in front of me, I had this picture up there that was a picture of a candle, a lit candle, and the words, "Endless possibilities await me." And it was a nice focal point to kind of, when you're crazy busy and needed some direction, I could look at that and say, okay, endless possibilities await me. And the second step was to think of the possibilities I wanted and not the stuff that I was worried about. So I think that's an important step to remember, because you can kind of get carried away, but you have to focus it. And I love that quote, "If we fail now, it's a failure of imagination." So it reminds us to take that step back or pause and really be specific. Think about, maybe not so much, if you can't think of like exactly what it is you want to have happen, think about how you want to feel, what you'll be able to do, what you'll have, and allow that to direct your imagination. So let's take those thoughts into meditation. Remembering the principle is not bound by precedent. So whatever happened before this doesn't influence, doesn't need to direct or influence what we want to have happen. It is done unto us as we believe. So get comfortable in your chair. Sit up if you can. Get your back straight. Take 3 slow, deep breaths to relax. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And release. There's some more space in there. Making room. Let's do that again. Slow, deep breath in and hold it. And release. One more. Deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And release. And let your imagination take you. What would you like to be? What would you like to do? What would you like to have and feel? You don't have to judge it. Just think what comes up and find what resonates. Find what gives you that, oh, yes, or lifts you a little bit. Imagination is done unto you as you believe. Let your imagination take you.
The good I'm seeking me. As I open up to new possibilities, those new possibilities unfold in my life in ways that might be completely unexpected or completely reasonable. But in hindsight are completely understandable. The same thing is true for each one listening now. Good and more good and more good is flowing into our lives. And that infinite creative power that creates everything is offering up brand new possibilities in every moment, in every breath, in every activity. And as we open to good showing up in new and novel ways, it pours forth. It fills us, it lifts us, and those around us, bringing more love, more health and vitality, more prosperity, more sweetness, more creativity, more richness, more vibrant vitality, deeper spiritual awareness. Whatever it is that we're opening to, it's filling us already with even more and more and more of that good. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the wonderful way that this good is showing up. I'm grateful for the delightful and fun prayer work stories. Maybe starting with, you're not going to believe this, but, and continuing along. The good continues to unfold. Not because we know the secret handshake, not because we have special dispensation, because of the truth and who and what we are. We are, each of us individually and all of us together, bright lights of that divine love, shining and sharing and showing ourselves in our own unique way. And we are being uplifted by good and more good and more good in our lives. And I'm grateful for all of this. I'm grateful for each one here. I'm grateful for the awareness of this creative process. And I'm grateful to be able to speak this word of intention, of opening, of invitation, of allowing, and release it into that creative law that has always said yes. And I'm grateful to know without any question whatsoever that that power, that creative law is already responding. It's saying yes, and the good is underway. And so it is. I invite you to take a deep breath. As you breathe out, bring your awareness back to your body, back to the room around you. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Move yourself around a little bit. When you're comfortable, open your eyes as Ami sings another song for us.
Unfurl the past like an old map. Look at where we've been, look at where we're at. A path dependent appears to be, repeats itself at the risk of losing everything. The words have weight, bonds can break. Well, we'll shake the shackles, rattle the cage. You can't keep truth locked away. Shake the shackles, rattle the cage. You can't keep truth locked away. You can't keep truth locked away. Untruth to truth, darkness to light. Unveil the beauty that sits between your eyes. Don't let their lies burden your load. Truth moves in you and will keep you strong. And these words have weight, and these bonds can break. Well, we'll shake the shackles, rattle the cage. You can't keep truth locked away. Oh, we'll shake the shackles, rattle the cage. You can't keep truth locked away. No, you can't keep truth locked away. You see the people here got the minds to word, kick the dirt from this hurt. Let your love show to the world. Well, we'll shake the shackles, rattle the cage. You can't keep truth locked away. Oh, we'll shake the shackles, rattle the cage. You can't keep truth locked away. No, you can't keep truth locked away. No, you can't keep truth locked away.
Thank you, Ami. An original. Thank you so much. So we like to go around planting some seeds and letting them germinate a little bit, and then after a little watering them and fertilizing them with our meditation and prayer, see what's starting to sprout. So if anybody has anything that's coming up for you, based on what we've been talking about this morning, that you'd like to give voice to, this is a great time. Go ahead and wave or use your digital reaction button and give voice to it. Carla, and then Jesus.
Hi, everyone. Happy, merry, happy. So I'm going to try and tell this short, verbose. So I have for work coming up in the first quarter of this paid media campaign. I had this idea to do this initiative at a particular venue that would last like a month. And I spoke to the people at the venue very briefly, like several times in the last 6 months, and they're interested, but we never really get a good meeting going, And I keep sending, I know I love this dog. I keep sending emails, and we chat for like a second here or whatever, and I send dates and times for us to meet. This guy does not respond. And then finally I wrote him a message last week saying, I get it, crazy times, can't do it, you can't do it. Didn't respond to that either. I had another meeting like a week and a half ago. Guy totally face-to-face, guy at the organization totally stood me up. We rescheduled for this week, and he gave me all these new connections, and one of them is this amazing venue that's that might be perfect. I don't know what it's going to look like, but the whole point of this is, and I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I could just worry, or I could see this campaign and initiative that's going to last for the next, that's going to be in the works until April 1st. I could see it as turning out the way I want it to do and 10% better. Or I could worry about where it's going to be to the extent that it freezes me and I don't even reach out to this new contact or any of the other plan B, C, or D that I actually have. So, left to my own devices, I would do that worrying thing. But I'm really very motivated and moved to think about what I want this to be for myself, for this community, for whoever this venue is, for my organization, the whole 9 yards. And it could be amazing. So why not look at that part as opposed to the other part? So thank you. And Ami, your voice is awesome. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Carla. And what a reminder that we can get an idea and put some work and energy and effort into making something happen. And sometimes it'll happen. And then sometimes for whatever reason, it won't happen. And we can also worry about it and then have it happen. Or we can worry about it and then have it not happen. So the process works whether we worry or not. So maybe it's worth giving up that part and putting our energy into what it is that we want to be creating, because at the very least, it keeps us in that happier, positive state. Jesus.
Yes, I'm gonna try not to worry of what I'm gonna say right now, but I just want to thank you, Rev. The board of directors, everyone here for creating this platform that I could enjoy, that I know all of us could enjoy. And I see the way everybody participate with the reading, with the sharing, with the meditation, with the music, with the talk. It just brings a lot of joy to my life, that I could wake up and turn on the Zoom, and have all this magnificent joy with everybody a day after Christmas. And it's just something so magnificent what we got here. We got here a treasure. And the way I see each one of us with the motivation, with the passion, with the love and the joy, sharing that gift that each one of us bring to the table. It's just so magnificent to see. My eyes, you know, I have seen like I've been to the valley of death, but today I'm sitting in the mountaintop, and it's so wonderful to see the glory of God in each one of us. So I just encourage each one of us to keep striving forward in this new year, in this Christmas, the joy of life, and keep having that joy. And that not only when people say about the Christ when he was born, I'm not worried about that. I know he was born. And the main thing is that he is born in my heart, in our hearts. And we reflect that Christ with our words and action. So thank you, everybody. God bless.
Thank you. Yes, and that Christ light is born in Jesus, which, yeah. Jane's turn is coming up for the offertory. Anybody else? One more thing.
Good morning. I wanted to thank Jesus for what he shared and also say that I feel exactly the same way. So thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you, Winnie. It's wonderful. Jane, you're up. And you're muted.
You have it on the screen. Is it coming up on the screen? Green's like, yeah.
Yeah, Jane wants to tell you that we're going to do the offertory together and that you can make a donation through.
Yes, here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, I do want to tell you that we're going to do the offering affirmation right now. So here we go. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with the infinite source of all good. I am a center of tremendous prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life. I bless my gift. I share my gift with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. And a reminder that we are a 501c3. We've been a nonprofit for a long time. We actually got our 501c3, the official paperwork this year. Go Board of Trustees. As always, your donations are tax deductible through the end of the year, and they'll show up on your giving statement. So we appreciate every way that you share. Ami, take us home.
You got it. Sleigh bells, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. Well, a beautiful sight, and we're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is the new bird. Well, he sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say no, man, but you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we have made, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow, we can build a snowman and pretend that he's a circus clown. We'll have lots of fun with Mr. Snowman, until the other kids knock 'em down. When it snows, ain't it thrilling? The nose gets chillin'. Oh, we'll frolic and play the Eskimo way, walking in a winter wonderland. Oh, walking in a winter wonderland.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ami. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. The 12 string really brings a lot of richness into that one. So thank you all. This is our last Sunday of 2021. Perhaps just in time to be done with this one, and we can open up a new chapter next week on another one. Let us close this out by raising our voices in cacophony one more time. Go ahead and unmute your microphone, and you can repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
Love.
I am the light.
I am the light.
I let the light shine.
I let the light shine.
I let the love flow.
I let the love flow.
I know the good is right here, right now.
I know the good is right here.
Right now,
And so it is. Drop the mic.
So it is.
Drop the mic.